what has really shaped your leadership into becoming this disciplined athlete?
Picture with this guy, like, I want a selfie, I want him
Yes.
to sign my...
Wow.
And he's like, bro, tomorrow we're going to step on the field against him and you being a fanboy.
Yeah. Because I remember when we were praying for you, you were not well with your health, and how did you cope with that?
Yeah, so that was hectic. So about 7...
Sawubona, hello, goeiemorgen, hoe gaan dit? That's about it. Anyways, my name is Nhlaka, and welcome to All Things Leadership Podcast. As the year is beginning, we believe that you can make better decisions about your life today. And today, it gives me a great honor and a privilege to welcome one of the best leaders that I know, Kurtlyn Mannikam. Can you please give him a hand?
Thanks so much. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Obviously we talked about it.
Yeah, just go.
Yeah, I'm saying we talked about it and I was like, when is it going to happen? And then when it happened, it just so happened that I was free today. And
yeah.
So yeah, I think...
and we met at a party.
We met at a party.
Someone's 21st, bro.
Exactly.
And you saw
exactly. Imagine, we were doing work at a 23rd. Sorry, Keeks.
Yeah, bro. Bro, just please tell us just about a little bit of your background, where you come from, where you grew up, your family, your school, and.
Okay, that's a loaded question, and there's a lot there. But yeah, so I'm from Ladysmith, a little town called Ladysmith. I was born there, grew up there. My family's from there. I went to a little school. So I'm a little farmer boy, as they say, and I went to a school called Edgerton Primary School, which was initially I started off at Occasionville Primary School, and my mom taught there, so it was like by default I had to go there. That was really cool. I made a lot of good friends there. I was there until like grade 2. One of my friends that I emceed at his wedding a week and a half ago. I met him there about 6 years old.
Sure.
And then I moved to a school called Edgerton Primary School, and that was a more diverse school, more sporty school.
Okay.
There's not much in Ladysmith in terms of schools and opportunities, so that had the most. We had the opportunity to play.
Was the way you got exposed to cricket, to playing it?
No, so actually I got exposed to cricket at home, in my hood, on the road.
Really?
So I'm going to tell you a cool story.
Okay.
I'll tell you a cool story. So from our neighborhood, from my street basically, 3 houses in a row produced 3 provincial cricketers.
That is so cool.
3 provincial cricketers. So we started off just drilling the road, man. Like, bowling, batting, all the kids from the neighborhoods around, and that's how we started playing. And
did you break any windows, bro?
Oh yeah, so many.
So
many. It's so bad. We broke everyone's windows. Mostly ours, because our house was directly in line with where we would play, and so we broke a lot of windows. Bro, it's ridiculous actually to think about it, and now being older and think about prices of windows, because back then it was like, we broke the window, I'm so sorry, like,
bro,
just fix it.
I mean, in my community, my neighbor happened to be a top gangster, bro, and I broke his window.
Oh my word.
My friends told me,
how did that go down?
My friends told me that this guy's gonna kill you. Run.
Playing cricket?
Yeah, I was playing cricket, bro.
Word.
And with the mind of a kid, I ran the whole day till it's time to come back home.
You're gonna have to
He's
come
my
back.
neighbor, bro. He never said a thing.
Oh my word! At least he was chill.
I think he found out that it was me, but he never asked me anything, and I never confessed anything to him. But I was so scared of him, and
You broke a gangster's window.
I broke a gangster's window.
That's tough.
That's gangster, bro.
That's gangster. Listen, that's gangster. Like, I would put that on my CV.
Yeah.
I broke a gangster's window and I'm still here.
Sure.
That should go on your CV.
Yeah. So now you play cricket on the streets, and then you progress to school.
Yeah. So I started playing like that, just on the street and on the road with the people, and we were really competitive, man. Mm-hmm. So like, and you know, like every hood has that, like, your pride.
Yes.
So we'd get people from outside coming to play against us, and it's just on the road, just street cricket. And then I started developing the love for it. I think before the skill, I started falling in love with the competitiveness of cricket.
Sure.
Because it brings out like something. I don't know if it brings out the same in every cricketer, but for me, it brings out that killing edge. You know, that not in like the actual sense of the word, but that killer instinct of, like, it brings out the best. You want to win. You want to do everything you can to win, and it does that for me.
Yeah.
And because of my personality, that you'd know, is I'm more chill and jokes and that and that and that. But if you see me on the field, you'd never say. Like,
sure.
And that's just cricket. And so I started like that. And then my mom and dad, so dad coached a lot of cricket at school.
Okay.
And mom actually managed, so my dad was a provincial coach of the KZN Inland under 13. And I was about 6 years old. And mom was the manager of that team.
Oh.
So I went on tour with him because I couldn't stay at home. And I was like, oh my word, this is cool. You go on tour, you play against other people from other towns, other cities. And that's where I'd say after that tour, I was like, oh my word, I want to do this. And then went back to school.
Did you play any other sports in school?
I played every sport at school. At primary school, I played hockey, rugby, cricket, football. I swam, but I wasn't really a good swimmer. Mm-hmm. I swam because my friends did it. I became better at swimming.
But at least you're better at fishing now.
Fishing? I'm a garden fisherman, listen.
Yeah.
That's me. But yeah, I played every single sport that was available at school.
Sure.
Right throughout until like grade 7. And then grade 7 is when everything changed. Because then I made a provincial team. Or under 11, I made under 11 KZN. Mm-hmm. Coming from Ladysmith, there was only 3 of us from the whole northern KZN. There was 2 of us from Ladysmith. Then I made under 13, and at the under 13 tournament, sure. Am I sharing too much?
No, go for it. Go for it.
So how everything changes. I was reading a magazine.
Okay.
And
what was it? Bona.
I don't even know what
Kick off.
It was like
that was our social media back in the day, eh?
You know?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there reading it, and then I came to a page, and there was. So my favorite cricketer of all time is Jock Callis. I think he's the best cricketer that ever lived, and probably the best that we'll ever see.
Okay.
So and it's not biased. You'll understand why I could be biased to that. But I was reading a magazine, and I came to this page, and they were like these cricketers from all over South Africa, youngsters my age, and they were on there, and it said Jock Callis Foundation. Jock Callis scholarships. There's only 5 in South Africa every year. And I was like, what? This is so cool. So I read about it, and it said, no, it's Jock Callis actually identifies 5 players each year, all around the country, that he pays to go to like prestigious schools that wouldn't have, like for boys that wouldn't usually have the opportunity to go to these schools. So I was like, yo, this is amazing. And at that time, my parents were making massive sacrifices for me because they could see that there's something here. And we couldn't afford it. But my parents were literally selling cars, willing to sell the house, everything to get me to St. Charles College.
What?
Because, again, coming from Ladysmith, Peter Maritzburg was Vegas. Like, we came here. I promise you, we came here grade 7 because we were like, I need to come to high school in a bigger city to mix with the real players. And, bro, I saw more. Like we would check the malls and everything, and you're like, this is Vegas.
I know it's actual, man.
Yeah, that's it, you know.
Sure.
And so I was like, I'm going to St. Charles. It was amazing. Like I didn't ever expect to get it, but my parents somehow pulled it, and I went to buy a uniform the week before. I was a St. Charles boy, and then so I saw that ad, and I'm like, okay, cool. Then I read the schools. It was Wynberg in Cape Town. It was Pretoria Boys High in Pretoria. I'm trying to get the other schools. I think Bishops in Cape Town. There's 5 schools. I should actually know this, but yeah. There was 5 schools, and one of them was Maritzburg College. So that was the only one here in KZN. So I was like, oof, Maritzburg College. I didn't know much about it then. I knew at that time Miller was in matric. So I heard about Dave Miller, and I was like, okay, he's gone. But I didn't know much about Maritzburg College. And then, so I take it to my dad, and I'm like, Dad, look at this. And he's like, oh, that's amazing. And I'm like, imagine how good you have to be one of these boys. And you're like, it can happen to anyone. Like, if you put in the hard work, you've been doing well, so why not you? And I'm like, you know? And you give them that look of,
yes.
Only a parent would say that.
Yeah.
They'd be like, it could be you. And I'm like, sure. And he's like, come here. Let's pray about this thing. So I'm like, okay, sure. We had that thing on, my dad grabbed me, we prayed. And then he said, like, Lord, if this is for my boy, then... We hadn't sent CVs for it. That was the first time we ever saw it. Didn't ever send a CV for it. We don't know who to speak to about it. Didn't speak to Maritzburg College. Yeah, I'm a St. Charles boy.
Yeah.
The next week, I was sitting in class. I don't know what happened. And now, in hindsight, I don't know what happened. So, the guy from the head coach of Maritzburg College, Mike Beshe, gave my dad a call and said, hey, listen, you know, where's your son going next year? We saw him play.
Wow.
Where's your son going next year? So my dad's like, oh, he's going to St. Charles. He's like, why not Maritzburg College? And we're like, we didn't know. Saints looked amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going to be sending him there. And he's like, okay, what if we'd like him to come to college? So my dad's like, Saints is giving him a bit of a scholarship, helping us financially. You know, if you know, you offer the guy the right things, we'll have a look. So he's like, okay, give me a second. I don't know the son in school, but my dad told me the story. They called him back like 5 minutes later and told him, listen, there's this thing called at Maritzburg College called the Jar Color Scholarship.
What?
We've just spoken to the people from there. They want to offer it to your son. So my dad instantly clicked. He was like, that's the thing we saw in the magazine.
Yeah.
And he was overwhelmed. And my dad's a crier, you know my dad.
Yeah.
And so he was burst into tears, and he phoned my mom, and they were like, oh my word, it's happening. I'm in class not knowing. So I'm in class, I get called, Kurtlyn Mannikam, can you please come to the principal's office?
Oh! You don't just go to principal's office.
I'm like, oh my gosh. And listen, I don't think I was naughty, but I always did something. Because I was always trying to make people laugh and stuff like that. So I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do now? So I walk in there, then I see my parents. I'm like, this is serious now. If they call my parents in, I'm getting expelled. I'm fired from school.
Sure.
But they were crying. I'm like, whoa, it's worse. Now imagine this.
Yeah.
Going to the principal's office, you walk in there, your parents are there, and they're crying. I'm like, there we go. I'm off to Boys Town. I'm going to juvenile.
Yeah.
You know? And I sat down, and my principal asked me 2 questions. I remember it clearly. And he went, so you ready for high school next year? And I said, yeah. And he said, which high school are you going to? And I said, St. Charles College. And then he said, no, you're not. And I was like, oof, I guess I got rejected.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, you're not. And then he told my dad to tell me. And they told me.
What?
And changed my life forever, bro.
Wow.
Changed my life forever. Then I came to the big leagues.
So going to college just changed everything.
Oh, yeah.
Was there more opportunities in terms of this Jet Colors scholarship?
Yeah, like, so part of the Jogcala scholarship was amazing. Like, we got sponsored by Adidas. All the boys have. So we would get Adidas socks and tracksuits and shorts and t-shirts and spikes and trainers. So we had the best kit. Which was all Adidas because he was sponsored by Adidas.
Yeah.
Then he was sponsored by Slazenger and he batted with them. So we batted with Slazenger. So we got kits. So it was amazing, and like in that that aspect of things, it was just.
Did you ever think of changing your mind in high school?
From cricket?
From cricket, yeah.
Yeah, funny. Well, not in high school, at the end. So I'd had this cool career there, and I played hockey and rugby there. I did a bit of swimming, but not too much, and cricket. And so I played provincials, schools right throughout, under 15, under 17. And then the big one is Coke Week.
Okay.
It's Kaya Majula Cricket Week, under 19. The best of the best go to this week. From there, you start going into the professional world, or if you selected or whatever. So that was the dream. I was making teams. I was 13 years old making 15 teams.
What?
So I was like, okay, my trajectory is that's where I'm going to land.
Yeah.
I was grade 10. They picked me for the under 17 team. So I was 15. I was like, okay, gun. Grade 11. They picked me for the under 17 team. So I was like, okay, cool. I wanted to play Coke Week that year, but I was like, okay, cool. Next year is my final year.
Yeah.
I'm going to go there. I won't mention any names or stuff like that, but my matric year, they said, you know what? We're going to send you with under 17 again. I'm like,
I've been playing this thing like for
this is my benefit,
yeah.
I'm like, no ways.
Sure.
Coke Week is this thing, and I was leaving school, so that was it for me. I was never going to play Coke Week. And I fought people, phone coaches, coach, what's going on?
Yeah.
No, you're good enough, but we feel like you'll benefit there. So I was obviously like distraught.
Yeah.
And I got that year, I got accepted into UKZN for physiotherapy, which is my passion. So I got biokinetics physiotherapy, got accepted, and then I was like, maybe it's enough with cricket.
Yeah.
You know, when you're like, I was so broken by the game, and I was like, I've given everything. My matric year, I would train at 2 a.m. because we have a net at home with lights.
So your dad built a net for you?
My dad built a net. The parents built a net for me.
What was it? Was it to improve your skills?
Yeah.
What prompted?
I think it was that, because there were a lot of the guys like at the top level had nets at their homes and stuff, and it was not like you playing against Michael Last Hilton. The big schools, a lot of money. The parents have like a lot of money there.
Yeah.
They're throwing it around.
At least you know the drum.
You know,
drum at home.
You see. So then I'm like, okay, we built a net. Then the main thing about it was like, because of my hectic schedules, because I was trying to get into like a hectic course, so I had to study a lot, and I took physics and maths, and so there was no time. I'd come home from school at 5 or 6 because we train every day at school, and then I'd come home or sometimes stay at school, because I was like in and out of boarding with, and so there was no time. So I'd go to bed, I'd study, eat dinner, I would eat dinner, study, go to bed, and then wake up early hours in the morning training. We have videos of it actually.
What?
2 a.m., 3 a.m. You see the timestamp. We're training. My dad's there, and feeding balls in the machine.
So you would bat a lot.
I would bat a lot there. I couldn't bowl there because I couldn't see. It was like there's no run up.
Yeah.
Well, there was a run up, but I couldn't see him.
Yeah.
So I just bat a lot, and then we do fitness, and push-ups, and a whole lot. At that time, just give me a chance.
Yo, that's great, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then then you finish matric. Then what happens? Because a lot of kids are great at sports in school. Yeah. And then afterwards, we don't know what happens.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough. I'd say I went off the rails a bit. Varsity life got me.
Were you here in UKZN?
I was in KZN, yeah. I spent a bit of time in Cape Town as well. But that whole vibe of varsity life, I was in Durban and I wasn't in Maritzburg.
Yeah.
And so when I came back to Durban, I was fortunate enough to get a academy contract with the Dolphins. I was signed to a big franchise at the time. So I got a 1-year deal with them.
Sure.
And that's when it switched on for me. Because you get to train at the best facility.
Mm-hmm.
Kingsmead is amazing. Zulu was the coach. Lance Klusner was the head coach.
Ooh.
Zulu. So he was the head coach of the senior team, and our head coach was Yashin Ibrahim.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was training there, and we had superstars in our team. We all kicked on to be superstars now.
Yeah.
And we had a really good team. So I was surrounded by like really good players, and then you'd go to like a Dolphins practice or see the Dolphins practicing the main site. And it was just like, at that time was Dave Miller, Keshaf Mirage, Cody Chetty, Jonathan Van Deer, like, bro, that team was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you were just surrounded by them. And I was still at a stage where I was like...
Trying to find your feet again.
Trying to find my feet. I was still partying in Durban. Durban was amazing. But just that environment when... Boy, there's no time to be...
Yeah.
You're either here or there.
Sure.
You're either going to be good times or you're going to work.
That's good.
And that place sorted me out. Because in that environment, if you weren't fully in, you were out.
Sure.
You know? It would kick you out before you even know. And so yeah, there. That's where I started. Yeah.
So did you play at varsity?
I did. I played Varsity Cup, or no, at that time it was USA.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't qualify for Varsity Cup. I played USA. Still played there. Played club cricket. So I was playing Dolphins Academy. I played USA, and but still hadn't played professional cricket yet. Hadn't made my first class debut.
Sure.
And I was just trying every time, like pushing, and it wasn't working out there. And should I just kick on to the next where it kicked on? And then, so the Dolphins, KZN Inland, just became, so they started playing first class cricket now. So it's professional cricket, and it was home.
Yeah.
But I was there, and I wanted to play for the Dolphins. And the coach spoke to me. They were there on a training camp or something, and the coach was Grant Morgan. And at that time, it was Grant Morgan, and he spoke to me, and he said, "What's your aspirations in cricket? Where do you want to go?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "I want to play this game. I want to play professionally. I earn money from it. I want to be a star, and that's it." And he goes, "Are you getting game time here?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Then come back home." I was 19.
Yeah.
I'm like, back to Maritzburg. No, I'm not coming. And he's like, "We have a good environment here. You have good players." Our captain at that time was Shane Berger, who later became massive in my journey, and coached me. And he's like, "Come back home." And I'm like, "Okay, sure. I'll come back home." And literally from there, pushing. 2 months after that, I made my first class debut at Newlands.
What?
Yeah, at Newlands.
Yo, that's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
And so how would you? What has really shaped your leadership into becoming this disciplined athlete?
There's no long answer to that. I think it's just my firm foundation in Christ. I think it was set in from a little boy, and as much as you sometimes become this rebellious teen and straight out of school and you rebel and you, I wouldn't call it rebel, you just experience life and you do your thing and you go far away, God pulls you back. And that's literally, there's no long answer to it. I don't have this extravagant answer how I've become a leader and how I went into leadership and why I feel so passionate about leadership. It's just that, and when you stem your beliefs around that and the pillars that stand in our faith, leadership is something that chooses you don't really choose it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yo, that's amazing. And then how do you then build up to your debut? Was it the Proteas?
It was SAA. Yeah.
SAA, yeah. I just saw you in pictures, bro. I'm just like, that's Caitlin, bro.
I don't even know how to say it. Like, so I had. This is 10 years now I'm in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
I debuted a month ago.
What?
So,
congrats of it.
Sure.
Congrats.
Thank you. So it was a So
you came back to KZN. So you were just playing.
I've played here now. So
cricket.
Yeah.
You say it inland cricket.
It was inland cricket at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then we became a franchise, which we are now.
Yeah.
Tuskers.
Mm-hmm.
We're the AET Tuskers now, and I've stayed here and played here.
Wow.
10 years, and I've had good seasons, bad seasons, and then I had 2 really good seasons in a row. It was the one before COVID, and I think I was second in the country, wicket takers, and I scored some runs as well, so I was good with the bat, good with the ball. Then, I was really getting momentum, and then COVID.
Yeah.
And that rattled everyone, and seasons got moved, and we started playing in bubbles and going on these tours where you can't leave your hotel room for 30 days. It's like that. But I had a really good season then as well, during that COVID season. And the season after that's when the franchise came out, and we got a franchise, and the new system in Cricket South Africa came out. And I got a call. Okay, I have to mention this. So, I was playing a game. It was in Northern Cape. And during the game, the umpires call me, match referee calls me, and they go, they suspect you of an illegal action. So I'm like, now, so I was a fast bowler. Right?
Yeah.
All my career. I played for Inland as a fast bowler.
Yeah.
I broke my ankle in 2015. Just before the Africa Cup, maybe 5 months before the Africa Cup. Came back from the injury, was told I'd never play that Africa Cup, I'd never be ready. Prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed over the ankle, and poof. When God does things,
Yeah.
He does it properly, man.
Yeah.
And I played that tournament as a fast bowler. After that, I could feel while I was playing that tournament, I'm not the same anymore.
Yeah.
And after that tournament, took a break, and had to reform myself because I couldn't bowl fast anymore. Well, I was never really fast, but I could never bowl seam again the way I used to. And reinvented myself with my coach at the time, Shane Berger, and came back as a spinner. Okay, so now I'm a spinner. I taught myself how to bowl spin with my coach. So Shane Berger and I literally... We made an action.
Yeah.
So it was very new to me, and it was very raw.
Yeah.
It wasn't really coached of how to bowl spin, what's right, what's wrong. We just developed an action, got thrown, and started doing well. I was a spinner. And to that game, I got called in, and they said, you got a suspicious action or suspected illegal action, and you can't play.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? And they show me footage, and I'm like, how can we prove this? What happens? So that's a long story, and I don't think I'm allowed to speak about it too much. Anyway, that was a blessing.
Yeah.
It was, at the time I couldn't see it. It was the worst thing ever because I thought that's the end of my career. But through that, I met Vincent Barnes, one of massive in CSA, ex-cricketer as well, but 30 years in CSA and worked and developed players. And I started working with him and became really close with him. And he helped me reform my action. But through that, they started seeing, okay, this kid can bowl a bit,
Yeah.
He's actually... And at the end of that, I got invited to a Cricket South Africa camp. So like a high-performance camp for spinners. And it's a national camp. So now you're there with the best in South Africa. And so that was my first introduction to this level.
Wow.
But that was 2 years ago. Or a year and a half ago. Came back from that, played for the Tuskers. never heard anything from Cricket South Africa again. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. That's as far as I'm going to go.
Yeah.
That's when my kids asked me one day, did you play for South Africa? I'm going to say no, but I went to a South African camp.
Yeah.
I went to a spin camp and didn't hear anything. And about a month and a half ago, it was the start of December, my coach sent me a message, Ahmed Amla, Tuskers. He said, you've put your name forward. I don't know what's going to come of it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what? Who they play? He's like, no, India. I'm like,
No ways, bro.
they're never going to pick me.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, well, your name's out there. Yeah, you can pick anyone.
Wow.
So just letting you know that this could happen.
Sure.
And I'm like, this is not going to happen. So I was chilling at home with a friend of mine, and we were chilling in, my missus, I'll say it. And we were chilling, sitting on the bed, and we just come home from lunch, and we were talking and stuff like that, and then I get this call.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, how are you? Is this Kurtlyn Mannikam? I'm like, yes. And they're like, okay, cool. Just want to say congratulations. I'm calling from Cricket South Africa. We've selected you to be in the SA team against India tour. So I'm like, yeah, sharp. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I look at her, I'm like, did you hear this? And she's like, yeah. And then I'm like, he's like, I need your kit size and this. And I'm like, now my mind is blown.
Yeah.
I don't even know what size I'm at. Like, at that time, I'm like, am I extra large? What am I? You know?
Yeah.
And it happened.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Then I call back because I cut the call. And I'm like, no, this is not real.
Unbelievable.
And I call back and I'm like, bro, are you serious? Is
Yeah.
this happening? And he's like, yeah, I'm serious.
Wow.
So immediately I get off the call. I call my mom. I call my dad. I'm like, guys, this is what's happening. And everyone was obviously, this is what we've dreamed for. This is what they've sacrificed for. This is what I've dreamt for my whole life.
Wow.
To wear South African badge and play for the country.
Wow.
And it was then, came true.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Yo, and how was the game?
It was good.
How did you find it? Because were you the only one who was new in that space?
No, there were a few debutants. We played a very young team in that team.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a few debutants, but there were a few that experienced it before. I think for me, I'll give you a funny story. The night before, so we played against a guy called Devdutt Padikkal. Mm-hmm. So he's an IPL superstar.
Sure.
And he plays for the team that I support, Royal Challengers. So he's a massive star to me. We had dinner that night. I'm not obviously comprehending. I am playing for South Africa against these guys.
Yeah.
I walk and I'm like, it's Dev. This is the guy. So I was with my really good friend Yasin Vali. He was my roommate, and he's a really, really good friend of mine here at the Tuskers as well. And he was my roommate. We got called up together. And he's like, bro, easy.
Hold your brakes.
We playing against these guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want a picture with this guy. Like, I want a selfie. I want him to sign my...
Wow.
And he's like, bro, tomorrow we're going to step on the field against him, and you being a fanboy.
Yeah.
And I had to just pull myself towards myself. I walk past him.
Be professional.
Yeah, I walk past him all cool. I'm like, Dev, how are you, bro? And he's like, yeah, I'm good.
Wow.
But in my heart, I'm like,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
Yo, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it was a dream.
And then how did you deal with your... Because I remember when we were praying for you, you were not well with your health. And how did you cope with that?
Yeah, so that was hectic. So about 7 or 8 months ago, no man, 4, yeah, no, yeah, it was like 7 months ago, I got injured on my hand. And had stitches and went to the doctor and stuff like that. But we were meant to do a CSA. So for Cricket South Africa, you're meant to do a full health, like medical, every year. So I hadn't done mine. And they have picked it up a few years prior to this. Hadn't told anyone. I didn't even tell my parents. But they told me, listen, there's something up here with your heart, but it's obviously I was an adult, so I had to take it forward and move. I was like, I don't want to know.
Yes.
I don't want to know. I'm a healthy guy. They're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, I'm fine. And so I went in for that. They did, so the team doctor did stitch me up, and he's like, hey, you ready to go? You're going to be 4 weeks off the field, and then you'll be back. So I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, hey, while you're here, let's just do your medicals. So I was like, okay. And then at the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my word, they're going to pick this thing. So I was like, but I didn't know what it was.
Yes.
I just knew that there was something wrong. And I knew I wasn't feeling good for about 2 years prior to that. And so he did an ECG. And then the doctor looked at the ECG and he went, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. And he goes, okay, cool, no, it's fine. We're just going to do it again just for a test. I'm like, okay, sure. They did it again. And he's like, oof. I could see on his face that something was wrong. And I knew something was wrong. So he's like, you need to call your parents. So I was like, they're here. They were outside. And he's like, no, call them in. I was like, okay, call them in. And then he goes on to say, listen, your son's got a heart disease. Was a heart disease, a heart condition. We're not too sure what it is at this time, but we see it and we have to acknowledge it, and you have to get treated for it.
Sure.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And you know what you get, when you hear the thing, you got a heart disease, you thinking, how much time do I have left?
Yeah.
So, and it rocked my world. It rocked my world. And
because first you don't believe it.
First you don't believe it. Then
secondly, you realize it's real.
It's real.
And now you have to deal.
Yeah, and then it was 2 months of just testing.
Yes.
What is it? Is it this and this and this until the diagnosis? And then it turns out that I actually do have a kind of heart condition, and getting treated, and everything's cool. I do feel like I get times where like I'm in bed and my heart it's irregular, or I'll wake up tired. Sometimes when I run, I'm into running now, long distance running and stuff like that. Sometimes when I run, I hit like a lull, where I just don't have any energy.
Sure.
And I've just learned to cope with it now. And the doctors are like very cool about it, and they're like, okay, you can play.
So you were not worried when you were called for South Africa to...
I was... look, like I'm just made peace with it now, because it could get worse. It could stay the same.
But you can't live in that dress of worry.
Exactly.
You live in that dress of faith.
And like I've sat down with my parents, I've sat down with my family, and I've said, like all my loved ones, and I'm gone, if it has to happen that because of this, and I'm on a cricket field, and I have a heart attack, and that's it. That's it then.
Sure.
We have to come to that agreement. Like, we have to just put that to rest, because I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
Until they tell me I have to stop.
Yeah.
If they don't tell me I have to stop, I'm not stopping.
Don't stop, my brother.
I'm not stopping. So that's a conversation I had with everyone. And it is scary. Like, I mean, sometimes like I'm on the field and I can feel like I've obviously got trackers and heart trackers. We played the SA game with trackers on there.
Yeah.
And even there, the guy says like, you got your heart's a little bit wobbly, bro. And I'm like, I'll be okay.
Sure.
So it's just it's scary.
Sure.
It's scary because you see like a guy like Christian Eriksen had that massive incident where you the footballer there, you'll know. On the field, dead.
Sure.
Medically dead. For like 5 seconds. In front of millions of people. On the field, and his wife was there, and he just went, but he had a...
Wow.
I think it's a defib or something.
In Zulu, we say social film 7 in one. I'm gonna have to
see now. That's tough Zulu. I understand Zulu, but that
now my English data is gone.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to. A soldier dies in his work, in his job. Die in the field, man.
I love it.
English data is back.
It's back. Yeah, no, that's just it.
Wow, bro. And then how So now you're doing sports all your life.
Yeah.
And then how does the interest in business come about?
I come from a business family. Not my dad's side, my mom's side.
Okay.
So my grandpa was a businessman. And so I grew up seeing it. Then my grandpa passed and my uncle got into business, my mom's brother. And he's massive. Like he's probably one of the best businessmen I've ever seen.
Sure.
Like this guy's restarted. He's gone here, lost there in seconds. Like I've never seen a businessman move the way he does.
So he gained money, lost it,
Yeah.
and regained it.
Like this.
Bounce, like that's a cool bounce.
Like this. And I'm not talking, small business to no business to another small. I'm talking internationally balling. Internationally playing with the big players. And I'm just always intrigued, man. I always just sit there and look at him.
And what industry is in?
He's in. So at the moment now he's in medical marijuana, but they're doing the CBD part of it. So the oils, hemp oils.
Yeah.
So they have a company called Royal Queen Seeds, and also that's it. Royal Amsterdam. No, can't get the other one.
Yeah.
Herbal Holland.
Yeah.
Is the other one. So he's partners in both, and they're moving. They started. He lived in Amsterdam for about 4 years. So he started the businesses there, and he's like internationally growing. They did a launch at Times Square for one of his stuff, and so I'd say there. And then now recently, maybe 4 years ago, I met who's my partner, a really good friend of mine. I consider him a brother, blood, Dr. Dasher Naidu here in Maritzburg, and also watched him so he's a doctor, he's a pediatrician, but he's in business and
that's amazing.
So latched onto him as well, learned from him.
So what was your first business, and how was that experience for you?
I started business early. I was like 19, and I started a coaching business. Just me coaching started off. Then I got into schools, and I was getting coaches to work for me, and I was sort of being the middleman. So I was going to a school and going, "You guys need coaches?" Yeah, I got them. So I was like the agent.
Yes.
And that was the business. I was 19, 20.
Wow. So much courage, man.
Yeah, I think it was just when you're naive and you don't believe anything can go wrong, which is good. So you just take chances, and I started that, and then I wanted to be in everything. Every single business opportunity I heard about, I wanted to be in. Everything.
Wow.
In the industry, and I think again, it stems from like being around these powerful businessmen that do it the right way. I'm like, okay, cool. Because then sometimes the world has this thing of a businessman is this corrupt man that lives this lavish life and doesn't care about people and only cares about himself, and he's corrupt and he's bribing people. So then you have a bad taste in your mouth about what a business is.
True.
Or businessman is. And then I started spending time with like my uncle and Dr. Tishen and other strong businessmen, and I'm like, okay, you can do it the right way. You can sell a product and buy products.
Yes.
Sure. And be successful doing that. And a family member of mine gave me an opportunity to get into the sort of herbal medication part. Not the one I'm talking about. Another family member of mine. They do like eucalyptus oils. Creams and things like that, just or just maybe like ginger drops, to clean your bladder, like things like that. So I was one of the franchise owners with that, and I got into that for 6. So literally,
is that the business you got robbed in?
Yeah. That's the business I got robbed in.
Yeah.
Not by
staff.
Not by staff. Or not by the owners, not by the franchise owners, but by people. But I've got a crazy obsession with business.
Wow.
Like
and how long did it run for?
So I've been in business on and off for 10 years now.
Wow.
That one was like 6 months.
Wow.
But my coaching, and now you'll see on social media and stuff like that, Next Gen.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about Next Gen.
Okay. What prompted Next Gen to come about?
So Next Gen was just basically, investing in the future.
Okay.
But in the future, being the kids, the next generation.
Okay. So you're investing in the future of the kids.
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
So we started off just coaching. So we were coaching cricket.
Mm-hmm.
Cricket coaching, had a facility, and we just get kids in, coach, and that was it. So we were, in essence, affecting the next gen of cricketers.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I have this massive passion for not public speaking, but motivational speaking.
Yes.
So I went into that sort of field, and I started speaking at corporate functions and things like that. And that kicked off. So I would do that motivational speaking and the cricket coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But I never had the financial backing. And also I didn't have the guts to sort of say, all right, we're going to take over this whole industry. We're going to take over this industry.
Yeah.
And again, met Dr. Dashen Naidu. He's a businessman, and I was involved with stuff that he was doing at the time. And he said, all right, cool. Let's join forces.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make one brand. And we'll start off just the way you're doing now. So we'll keep doing that. And then we'll add to next gen. So I was like, okay, cool. Say less. I'm in.
Yep.
Started like that. And it just grew. And we doing that motivational speaking, coaching. Then we met a guy from India. And he introduced us to this brain training thing that you're seeing around. And
so what does this brain training do?
so brain training. So let's talk about that for a while. Brain training is basically kitting out your brain or exercise. Like we go to the gym, poof, beach muscles,
Yes.
push-ups, pull-ups, curls, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Training our muscles. Your brain's a muscle. And brain training is basically
Is it like
Because-
dropping more dopamine?
how to produce. You train your brain to produce more.
Mm-hmm.
Your reactions. So there's games when you train. There's like lights that flicker.
Mm-hmm.
Reactions. You train it. You're training your reactions in your brain. That the part of your brain that works with your reactions. You're training that. Your memory part of your brain.
Yeah.
Developing that. You're going how to block out noise. Now there's part of your brain that does that. When you see cricketers, you see sportsmen, a footballer, anyone, you're playing on a big stage, there's cameras, there's TV cameras, there's crowds or whatever. How do you focus on what you need to do?
Yeah.
Not that. You can train your brain to do that.
Yeah.
Cut out the noise.
Sure.
You can train your brain to do that. You can train your brain to... Our brain's crazy.
Yes.
Our brains are crazy. And you've seen results and research and medical reports about we don't access enough of our brain.
Yes.
And we don't work with it, man. Like we'll go to the gym and do push-ups,
Mm-hmm.
or we'll go to the gym and lift weights.
Mm-hmm.
But how much time do you spend training your brain? Only recently you've seen these apps where there's like memory training.
Yeah.
And you know those Sudoku, like the Sudoku puzzles to train to keep your brain healthy.
Yes.
Only recently you've seen that.
Yeah.
We've seen that. This has been happening for years. And all the elite teams all over the world have been doing this. But they're not going to give you their recipe, their secret
And
recipe.
we've also been beating them.
And we've still been beating them. So imagine us now with this.
Hey, imagine Africa with this thing, bro.
So we're the first in Africa we're the first lab, this lab that's coming to Pietermaritzburg.
What?
Will be the first ever brain training lab in Africa through next year.
That's cool, bro. Oh.
So we're taking on something that no one's ever done.
Wow.
We don't know how it's gonna come. We know the product. And the thing about it is that everyone involved in Next Gen and everyone involved in brain training has gone on a course and did it themselves.
Yeah.
So me as well, and I saw the results. So we and I think that's our superpower. That's why we can sell it the way we're selling it because we believe in the product. We've done it. We've seen the results.
So who's your client?
My clients are everyday people, or our clients are everyday people. So sportsmen, elite sportsmen, from your elite sportsman to your everyday sportsman. It's going to help everyone. We've now done research, and that's why doctors there. Docs done research with these ADHD patients, cerebral palsy patients, and it's massive.
Wow.
In all of that, so it's for anyone.
Is there like stages in this? Because I'm trying to understand it. Is there like, I'd say maybe like different types of plans in this thing? Because to me it sounds expensive, but it sounds worth it, you know. So is there like different stages? You know, you see this is a basic plan, this is a premium plan, and
they are that. There is that. So I won't give numbers, but there are different plans. If you go onto our website and you go onto social media on our pages,
what's the name of the
next
website?
gen. So the website's being developed at the moment, but there's, if you go onto Facebook, you'll find us Next Gen.
Yep.
Cricket 360.
Okay.
Instagram Next Gen.
100%.
TikTok. What was Twitter? What is it called now? Twitter.
X.
That we're on that.
Okay.
You'll see our videos on YouTube and it's everywhere, but they are different plans.
Yeah.
So we cater to everyone. So the elite athlete, the guy that's pushing players at schools or above, there's a plan and a package where you'd come in, so your program is a bit more advanced, and you'd work with a coach.
Yeah.
So we're massive with our table tennis clients at the moment. Our table tennis clients have gone from 14th in Africa to 3rd.
What?
We've gone from there's a story of someone that the doctor in India is working with that went from 40th in the world to top 10, and he's only been on this course for a year, I think. So, but that's again now specialized. There's programs specialized. You're in there 3 hours a week with the coach. So you're doing all of these brain trainings while practicing your skill.
That's amazing.
So for cricket, I'll be doing that. So you're going to be, for our interference glasses, so there's these glasses that have like the lights. So you can't, if I'm looking at you, I can see you, I know you're there.
Yeah.
But I can't see you. Now imagine that, you got that glasses on and you're facing a cricket ball coming at you. So there's this lights going, you need to focus on that ball.
Yes.
So you do that and you train like that an hour a day with me coaching you your skill of cricket, the medical side of it, and our medical staff will be coaching you on the brain. And you take those glasses off after 6 weeks of doing that 3 hours a week.
Wow.
Can you imagine? You've been hitting that ball with all of that going on. Now it's just you and the ball. And it's been done for years. Yeah. If you there's a few shows, there's a Netflix documentary called Quarterback. If you watch it carefully, they're doing brain training.
Is it just for cricketers or
it's for everyone. Have you watched that series Drive to Survive? It's on Netflix. It's about all the Formula 1 drivers.
Wow. They're
all doing it. Sure. They sit in their cars and do it. And it's not spoken about. So if you watch the documentary, you're just going to see it. And then you just be like, okay, that's how they're training. Now that you know what it is, go watch all of these things. You'll see that it's been done. What? And it's just here in Africa, South Africa, we're very scared. Firstly, there's costs involved. As you'd imagine, it's cutting edge technology. So there's costs involved, and as South Africa, we always go, we don't have the money. So that, I think, stopped us as Africa. And then also, we've always been a nation that's just a bit scared. True. So we'll see it done and we're like, okay, we can do it now.
Yes.
We'll never go, we're doing this. And then everyone else is like, oh, do you see what South Africa did?
Sure.
And I think we're slowly becoming that nation.
And
as I said, now Next Gen's gonna have the first in Africa.
Peter
Marritz's gonna have.
How was the launch last? You launched it last week, eh?
No, so the launch got delayed because of the prep of our facility. The launch is next week, 21st.
21st, Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
The launch is there, and
wow.
Yeah, it's going to be massive.
Yo, that's amazing. Bro, as we're about to wrap up, I want to understand what athletes can drop the ball in terms of managing finances. Because you just focused on doing the sports and not having other skills and having other values that can hold you up in a way. And then you see people going to national and they drop properly. You could see in our township, like people are like on the streets and they were playing national football, and what is it that is missing, and how have you managed in terms of your career?
I think that the main thing there is the awareness, firstly. And then also, I think our athletes aren't being educated. I think now we are a bit. But we're not being taught how to manage your finance.
Sure.
What is financial planning? Why should we financially plan? It's just it's not taught. And as you mentioned and you brought up the example of sometimes in the township a guy will just go up and down, and I don't think it's a thing of he's a bad person. I think he's just unaware of what can happen and what can't happen. So
sure.
It's an educational thing of we're not exposed to it. I've played cricket with players in my team, and I can't mention names, but I've played in teams where kids come straight out of school. In school he was earning money that he shouldn't have probably.
Yeah.
Straight after school he's earning 40,000-50,000 rand a month. 19.
Yo.
You don't think this is gonna end? You fit.
Sure.
You fit. You're strong.
Yep.
You're good looking. The ladies love you. The crowds love you.
Mine is gone, bro. Sure.
You're a rock star.
Yep.
And you're just gonna live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Buying 10,000 rand shoes and things like that, because you don't understand that your contract's 2 years. And in sport, that's how it is.
True.
I think in other sports it's a bit better. They give you a 4-year. In cricket, there's no stability.
Sure.
Maximum you're gonna get is a 3-year deal. Maximum, and that's very rare.
Wow.
So it's either a year or 2 year. So you understand that, but then you're not saying, oh, I need to put money away. And that's, I see a lot of players going, boom, earning all this like money. You're earning R1 million a year, R1 million a season.
Sure.
And the next season you're earning 100,000 rand for the season.
Sure.
Not even. Sometimes you go from that to nothing.
Sure.
And so I think what's missing is the awareness and a culture of sharing, in the sense that, like, I think we need to be more open in sport in general, or in life in general, of being able to say, like me as a player that's been in the industry for 10 years, to go to a youngster and go, hey, I know you're earning a lot of money, probably more than me at this time, but there could be a time where you're not gonna.
Yes.
So you need to save. So I think there needs to be a culture that needs to be more helping in terms of that. Because we'll be quick as sportsmen to go to each other and go to a youngster and tell him, maybe try and lean over the ball when you're kicking. You're going to get your shot down. Or when you're crossing, go this way. Or when you're playing a cover drive, get your head to the ball. Be quick to go to a youngster as a senior player and go, that's what you need to do. Are you going to go as a senior player and tell him, you spent 5 grand last night, you spent 5 grand the night before, just going out and partying, whatever. That's a bit irresponsible.
Sure.
Why don't you put your money in investment?
100%.
Why don't you send money home? Why don't you save? I think CSA are helping a lot now, or SACA. So, and they're putting in sort of lessons. Now we have we actually have a curriculum that teaches us these things.
That's great.
Investments.
Wow.
So if you're a pro now, it's like if you sign in a professional contract, we have lessons like once every month, 2 months, how to save, where to save, how to deal with media, how to,
Wow.
So it's getting better.
There's a lot I learned today. There's a lot about the journey of being an athlete, from having a great relationship with your father. It's important, and him believing in his son and And building those cricket nets at home, having those extra lessons were very helpful. So if you're a father, maybe you can create some extra time for your son. Secondly, I learned that even if people say you will not do it, you can be resilient, because there's a time of anointing, and the time of anointing propels you for a time of appointing. But somewhere in between, there's a time of disappointing. And it's important for us and for you as a leader to stay focused, to not want to be distracted, and to want to surround yourself with a community that is going to call you out, that is going to encourage you, and that is going to speak life to you, my friend. As Caitlin was mentioning today, is that everything that you do, you need to know that it matters and that it is important. But until next time, have a lovely day, have a lovely time. Every believer is a leader, and you are a leader, my friend.